All right, welcome to our discussion segment on Good Morning Anambra Monday episode. And this time around, we have, as our discussion this morning, stakeholders and 2019 elections. We all know that elections come and go, and they are characterized sometimes with some challenges that we face during before the elections. And as such, we brought in two gentlemen in the studio this morning to help us look at what the stakeholders are actually expected to do and who actually they are, and of course, what is expected of them, the roles they are expected to play for us to get free, fair, credible election come 2019. In the studio this morning, we have Professor Dennis Aribodor. Professor Dennis Aribodor is a lecturer at UNIZIC here in Oka. Prof, we're glad to welcome you to the studio.
Good morning. Good morning, viewers.
And we still have Honorable Tony Uche Ezekwelo in the studio to help us look at this topic. Hello, you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Anambra, and all over the world, people watching us, you're welcome.
So, we want to say welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, let's begin by trying to find out who are the stakeholders. 2019 election is on the way. So let's start by analyzing the stakeholders.
Yeah, thank you so much. The stakeholders in an election are those who are directly and indirectly involved in the process that leads to conducting an election. And the stakeholders include, number one, the umpire, the INEC. Number two, the security agencies, especially the police, the DSS, the civil defense, and the other ones. Outside the military and others are not supposed to be part of an election, except in a violent situation. Next stakeholders are the political parties, and then those that are conducting elections. And then the civil societies, the observers, the voters are very key stakeholders in it. And then every other person that is a citizen of the country that the election will affect, that plays one role directly or indirectly in the process of the election.
But Prof, you have an addition to what you said, because I know you captured most of it.
Yes, Tony is a fellow. No, he's a politician, so he's talking from experience. He knows the stakeholders. But there's a very critical stakeholder that I think we should not bring under the umbrella of civil society groups, the media.
Good.
You sitting down here. All the media organizations and the media practitioners that are also critical stakeholders in any election. And outside the media, you have the observers who tell you whether you are right or you are wrong. They're all stakeholders. But as you said, the most critical stakeholder is the individual that is going to vote. So let's leave it there for now. Maybe.
All right, you've talked about the stakeholders, who actually they are. Now let's begin to look at the roles expected of these stakeholders, beginning from the umpire, the election umpire, which is the INEC. What roles are they expected as we look forward to 2019 general elections?
Yes, the umpire in Nigeria, the Independent National Electoral Commission, is a critical stakeholder because they have the capacity to make or mar the election. So they have critical role to play. They have to show some level of fairness to all participants, all contesting political parties. They have to be firm in their decisions, and they have to be very unbiased in the way they deal with the contestants, because any attempt to favor a particular party against the other will spell chaos for the society. And they have this temptation of sometimes not being able to stand firm in dealing with incumbents. So we are admonishing INEC to borrow a leaf from what happened in 1993 elections, where the umpire was firm, except at the point of death when they annulled that election. So we are not expecting anything less than this from INEC, and we want to believe that they will learn from experience. This is not the first election they are conducting. They must be learning from every experience and ensure that.
Okay, let's go into the provision of the PVCs to individuals. We realize that other elections, individuals who are supposed to have their PVCs could not lay hold on them. And then some PVCs are not collected. And then what we saw in the paper today said INEC probes attempts to clone PVCs, and people are using to sell it online. So this is a very critical responsibility on INEC. What do you think? What's your take on that ahead of the 2019 election?
Well, for every voter to vote, you must have his voter's card, that's the PVC. And then for every person that must be voted in, he must be voted with PVC. Now, it's in fact, it is the most important instrument for conducting the election. And we're expecting that in fact, almost all these major stakeholders have been, clamoring that every person that has reached age to vote from 18 years and above should go and register and collect their PVCs. Most times, you see that the voters' cards are not collected after people have registered. But there's some issue. Why is it that we have large numbers of uncollected voters' cards? There are factors that lead to it. Number one, some of the people that come there to register don't actually come from there. They are mobilized from another place to come and register. So by the time it is now time to collect the cards, they were mobilized, paid to come there and register. And in the end, they've gone back to where they belong. So, and collecting it, most times it is the person that registered has to collect it. It becomes difficult for some other people to go and collect the cards. That's a very major factor that leads to most of these massive uncollection of cards. Except where, like in the north, where the INEC had to carry the card by themselves and take the emirs and to start sharing, which is an unethical and criminal practice. Now, in the other areas, you see that some other people that even go to register, they may come back from where they are living to register on their own. After they go back there, most of them they forget, or when they come back, they will not. They may not even come back to collect them. Some others are out of, some are pressured to go and.
All right. Apart from that, Tony, there's this report Aribodor, according to the Punch newspapers of 16th February this year, about a number of voters that have registered, and the Northeast being the highest with more than 18 million voters, then followed by the Southeast with about 14 million voters, and again the South is being around 8 million plus voters registered. I don't know what's the implication of these gaps in those registered voters.
You mean in terms of the population and the voting?
Yes.
You see, you cannot barb somebody's hair in his or her absence. If you don't register, you don't have a bargaining power to the election. So, yes, Nigeria still has a very big problem with the population census. And it is affecting even the electoral process. So, part of why you may be having higher numbers of voters in one region more than the other, population may be one of it. But beyond population, you may have the issue of mobilization, sensitization of voters by stakeholders like political parties and politicians. As Tony Ezepolo has highlighted, in some parts of this country where people depend, if you like, 100% on government, unlike in the Southeast, where sometimes we don't know government is existing, particularly federal government. So in those parts, you see people, they have the time, the politicians are there to mobilize them, even bring vehicles and make sure, as he said, these allegations are verifiable. So these are some of the gaps you have, which we think that, in fact, it makes them better politicians, because we should also, other parts of the country should also devise strategies to ensure that people who are up to the age of voting actually get registered and have their PVCs. It is a work for all the stakeholders, political parties, civil society groups, politicians themselves, everybody. We need to mobilize. This apathy we have in some regions, we need to work on it, because if you don't work on it, whatever happens, you are liable to You have to.
Okay, now what are the voters expected to do? Could you help us here, Tony?
Yeah, principally, before I enter there, I would like to mention that the issue of apathy, especially in the Southeast, is very, very deafening. It's unfortunate. Because if you are suffering from marginalization, you are the person that's supposed to we should be proactive about this issue of voter registration and collection of these cards. That's why I thank the governor of Anambra State for appointing a special advisor on voter education and enlightenment. You know, and that office should also be done in other states of Southeast. There should be massive mobilization toward it, because this is the only power we have to attract federal attention to Southeast. And everybody should do that. Then
mobilization, whose job is it to mobilize this time around?
Yeah, to mobilize, I mean, all the government agencies, all the political parties, the churches, the town unions, the IGWES, all the communities, CSOs, the trade union leaders, the youth leaders, and others across the society should all come out together and know that this is our life, this is our future, this is our security, this is our right to move. So in mobilizing these voters, I think that all stakeholders should join hands in doing that, because you need to vote in good leaders or vote out bad leaders.
All right, let's see these clips now on the screen. These are youth corps members used in the election, and most times they complain that they are not paid. And don't you think these are some of the reasons they are being manipulated by politicians? Aribodor, what's your take?
Yes, it's a factor. It's a factor, because when you engage youths like this, and at the end of the day, you don't give them their entitlement, it is a strong factor to expose them to manipulations by politicians. So it is bad, and it's not only the youth corpers, all the ad hoc staff should not be exposed by delaying their payment or not mobilizing them, because whether I like it or not, a lot depends on what they do in the field. So we are encouraging INEC to ensure that those that they mobilize to go and work for them are adequately taken care of. Where the money is not encouraging enough, they should increase it. They should increase such an entitlement so that the temptation will not be there. But beyond that, credibility of the ad hoc staff.
Okay, these are other clips now, you know. And while we are talking of corpers not being paid after doing their ad hoc duties, now we also see the case of people buying people to cast votes for them or to get votes. You know, can we stop that, Tony?
Well, the stopping it, I think, is not possible in Nigeria today.
It's not.
It is not possible. Now, it is not possible. I'm just being straight and factual about this. Because of the fact that, you see, there's a deliberate plan by those in power, those big politicians, to impoverish the people, keep them hungry, so that by the time the election comes, the small they give them, they'll not be very happy to go and vote them back to power to continue to suppress and oppress them. And this is the thing that our voters, the masses, the public should understand, that anybody giving you money to vote for the person is a criminal and have criminal tendencies and intentions.
Okay, could it be the reason behind political parties imposing candidates on the electorate?
Yeah, I want to just finish up. The issue is this. It is because if there is internal democracy, and if people know that you cannot be voted for if you don't bring money, so they will make sure that those that they put forth are the best. But because of the fact that they know that people are so impoverished psychologically, spiritually, and otherwise, that once you give them money, they'll do whatever you want. They can easily forgo internal democracy and do whatever they want, because they know they can buy over the election and the vote.
All right, sorry, there's this picture on the screen again, and we can see security personnel on ground, you know, manning the station to make sure that everything goes on fine. Now, how do you think security could be ensured for political parties, officials that do this job, and even the votes cast, that we don't experience thuggery come 2019?
Okay, before addressing that particular question, I want to disagree with my friend Tony that we cannot stop buying of votes. We can stop it.
How?
it is possible to stop it. We need to sensitize the voter, continuous sensitization by credible individuals and organizations. You can still collect this money and vote according to your conscience. Yes, it's a possibility. So it's not an idea that cannot be held. It is a fact that the politicians will always want to have their way. But we who are in the field should also struggle hard to ensure that only what is good is obtained.
All right.
So having said that, to the question now, you see, we still live in a country where poverty is a very big problem, where people are not sure of their remuneration, where take-home pay is still very meager and cannot sustain any sincere family for 10 days. So all these are factors that make security agents compromise themselves in elections. All of them.
All right. I think, gentlemen, that's much you can take on the program for now. For want of time, we'd like to appreciate you, Professor Aribodor, for coming. We could go on and on, but for want of time, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right. We also thank you, Honorable Tony Uche Ezekwel, for coming. Thank you.
Thank you so much. 2019 is a time when every stakeholder will put hands on them. We must have free and fair, credible election. All parties must ensure internal democracy in their party so that we have free and fair session so Nigeria can have peace and progress.
All right, we praise you. Thank you very much. All right, and that's all for now. We thank you so much for watching. Join us again at the other side at 8:30 exactly for the next segment of our discussion. Till then.